Hare Krishna. My name is Devaki Suta Das. I am from Mauritius, and today I shall discuss on the subject, if God understands me, then why am I suffering? There is one thing which we need first of all to understand, is that God understands us the way He created us, not the way we think we are. Because as far as our thoughts are concerned, it is related to our system of belief. And it depends upon the kind of belief we have in our mind. Then we consider ourselves according to our beliefs. But God is not our belief. To know God, to understand God, does not depend on what we believe we are. So first of all, we need to understand God. And how to understand God is through the process of meditation on His form and His name and so on. So in order to know why we are suffering in this world, if He really understands us, it is so simple to understand that He created this world, and therefore He knows this world how it is functioning, and how things are happening in this world. He knows everything perfectly. It's just like, you build a house, and then you know where is a bathroom, where is a toilet, where is a living room, dining room, and so on. And you know perfectly how the house is. How is it? I mean, the size of the house, the town which the house is situated, all this information you have about the house. But if a stranger comes into the house, into that village, he will have to ask somebody, well, sir, I wanted to know where is this house situated. Then the person will tell him, okay, such and such house is situated as such and such streets or road, something like that. So when he goes into the house, he will have to ask the proprietor of the house, can you tell me how, where is the toilet or where is the bathroom and so on. Then the proprietor can tell him where is the toilet and where is the bathroom. But if he himself, he don't know where it is, and then he think, oh, this, sink is supposedly, the toilet. Then he do the things there. So then he will be in trouble, right? So in this way, we'll have to understand that if we want to live happily in this world, then we'll have to understand each and every things in this world, how we can use it properly in the proper way. It's just like you will have to ask the proprietor of the house, how I can use this, how I can use that, how I can use everything which is in the house. You will have to ask him. And if you don't know, then certainly you will be in trouble. It's just like if there is there is your son, and then your son, he don't know what is fire, and he see this, as something which is really very interesting, and then you tell him, please don't touch this, but he think, no, this is something which is looking very good, so I can touch it. So then when he touch it, then certainly what will happen is his hand will get burnt, and then he will say, oh, I am suffering. So in conclusion, we can say that because we don't know the reality of each and everything in this world, therefore we don't know how to relate with them. That is, we accept things, we utilize each and everything depending on our system of beliefs, the kind of of belief, I have on that particular object, we tend to utilize it in that way. So when we utilize it in that way, then certainly it will be the cause of our suffering. It's just like God, once you approach your father and you said, my dear father, can you give me 15 rupees? I want to buy one, limca or I want to drink something which is nice, because I'm feeling very thirsty. And then you go to a shop and then you buy some, javel. Javel is a liquid which is used to clean clothes. And you buy one bottle of javel and you drink that javel, and then you get yourself, burned inside, and you say, oh, my father is responsible because he gave me the 15 rupees. So is this reasonable? Certainly not. It is not reasonable, because God has given you everything, but if you don't know how to utilize it in the proper way, and then when you misutilize it, and then when you are suffering, then you say God is responsible. So in one sense, in reality, He is not responsible, because we don't know really how to utilize it. But if we know how to utilize it, then we will utilize it properly, and then in this way we will not be suffering from it, because each and every object has his importance, has his place, and it is supposed to be the way it is, not the way we want it to be. Generally, we see nowadays in our modern society that God has created everything perfectly, but we are not happy the way God created it, so then we make another creation. We make it into something different. It's just like, I will give you a particular example, is God has created the metal called uranium. So the uranium is just beneath the earth, but then we dig the earth, we remove the uranium, and then we make atom bomb out of the uranium. Which means that the thing which God has created, we are not happy with it. We want to make a change to that things. And then that thing becomes the cause of our own suffering. So because we want to manipulate the things which He gives us, that's why we suffer. But if we know how to utilize everything, that is without manipulating it, but using it in the proper way, and then in this way it will be helpful. We will be happy with it. Because this world is, frankly speaking, this world is perfect. There is nothing wrong in this world. As you can see, the world is changing, keep on changing. You can see that 100 years ago there was, small huts, but nowadays we see big skyscrapers, and then we see so many development everywhere. Material development, but still we see people are suffering, because we have manipulated what He has created the way we want it to be, not the way He is seeing it. That's why we are suffering. But once we understand that how to utilize it in the proper way, and then we will be happy, So God created everything perfectly. There is nothing wrong in the creation. And as you can see, the sun was rising 100 years ago, and is setting the same way as it was rising before, even now. So which means that the sun has not changed. It is still the same. And also we can see the rain also is the same thing. So we can see that the creation of God is already perfect. But then, on the other hand, we see that the things we have tend to manipulate, to change, now is causing us problem. So the answer is how to put an end to all this suffering is by understanding each and everything created in this world by God, how we should utilize it. And in order to utilize it properly, it depends upon how we see it, how we relate to it, what is our understanding of that object. Because generally, we have this understanding that these things are meant to give me pleasure. This is our, you may say in one sense, is like our disease condition. We always think how I can utilize these objects to give me pleasure. But the truth is, we should not see each and every object as an object to give me pleasure. That is, when we want pleasure from these objects, then the same objects become the cause of our pain and suffering, because we are running after pleasure. But once we give up this conception of searching for pleasure, and then try to see that this pleasure which we are searching for from the external world is something which is within us, then certainly we will utilize it properly, these things. Which means that these things is not really bad. It's just like, you don't know how to speak with someone, you speak with him, very roughly, and then the person, comes and then hit you. So which means then you say, oh, this person is really very bad because he hit me. But why don't you say that because I have not been able to speak with him properly, that's why he came and hit me? Which is the reason. Because we don't know really how to speak, how to relate ourselves with each and everybody in this world. That's why we are in trouble. So in order for this to happen, the first requirement is we'll have to feel our own feeling. That is how we feel. Because at first, usually nowadays in our modern society, people get carried by others' feeling without understanding how they themselves are feeling. How themselves they are feeling, they can't understand. But once you understand that how I am feeling, and in this way, then you will be able to understand the feeling of others. And by understanding the feeling of others, then you can relate yourself to by the way the others are feeling. And when you go in that way, when you feel what he could be feeling, then you can say that you will know how to utilize it properly. And how this is possible? Only by meditation on the name, form, or pastimes, or of the Lord. This is the only requirement. And in this way, you will also understand each and everything in this world. And by understanding each and everything in this world, then there is no suffering. Because our problem is that we don't know how, we don't understand things in this world. We don't see it the way God is seeing it. We see it in our own conception, our own system of belief, our own thoughts of the mind. So then it gives us problem. But once we see it the way that God is seeing it, then all our problem is finished. That's why it is said that from the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that the conclusion of all knowledge is to put an end to suffering. So what does it mean? Which means that the conclusion of all knowledge, which means that the knowledge of how things is happening in this world, why these things is created, why am I here, and what is the purpose of my coming here, what I should do and where I am going. So these kind of questions is in the Bhagavad Gita. So once you get yourself connected to, you get yourself to know about these things, then which means that you are in touch with the reality of each and everything. Then you will be able to relate yourself to each and everything in this world in a perfect way, and then in this way you will be very, very happy and no more suffering. Thank you very much.